I speak tonight for the dignity of man and the destiny of democracy.
When you walk into the LBJ Museum and Library, you see 4 floors of glass.
Our mission is at once the oldest and the most basic of this country.
And you see those red boxes that are full of LBJ's papers.
To right wrong, to do justice, to serve man.
This is the story of how one man, in many ways, literally remade America.
My father had big, bold dreams of bringing everybody into the tent of opportunity.
Johnson saw America as a place where anyone could succeed.
My grandmother felt that education would be Lyndon Johnson's passport out of poverty. He got a job teaching in a small South Texas town called Cotulla.
My students were poor, and they often came to class without breakfast, hungry. They knew, even in their youth, the pain of prejudice. They never seemed to know why people disliked them.
He saw through the eyes of those children what poverty looks like, what bigotry looks like, what hatred and injustice looks like. And it never left him.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade. The flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
In 1963, when LBJ became president, he was urged not to rock the boat. He was a new president. He had come to power after a tragic assassination. And Johnson says, what the hell is the presidency for if I can't use it to remake this country for the better?
There was a kind of grandiosity to Lyndon Johnson. He never, so to speak, saw the top of the mountain. He wanted to keep reaching.
Lyndon Johnson believed in the welfare and dignity, the decency and innate integrity of every individual. It was a belief backed by muscular action and an ambitious legislative agenda that rivaled that of FDR.
Medicaid and Medicare.
Head Start.
Children trapped by circumstances need a way out. Head Start is that way.
Aid to dependent children.
The Elementary and Secondary Education Act.
No law I have signed or will ever sign means more to the future of America.
The National Endowment for the Arts.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Absolutely instrumental in the creation of NASA.
Clean Water, Clean Air Acts.
Public broadcasting.
The Immigration Act of 1965 literally changed the faces of America.
Above all, the dream of equal rights for all Americans.
The Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act.
It is wrong, deadly wrong, to deny any of your fellow Americans the right to vote in this country.
He understood that the fundamental right to vote undergirded every citizen's ability to ask for what they need and to fight for what they deserve.
The president was in a joint session of Congress introducing the Voting Rights Bill. It was such a powerful, moving moment.
It's all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice. And we shall overcome.
It's the only time I saw Martin Luther King cry. Tears just dripped down his cheek.
LBJ signed over 200 pieces of legislation, much of it shaping the nation we live in today. But an escalating Vietnam War with its mounting casualties began to engulf his presidency. On March 31st, 1968, in an address from the Oval Office, Lyndon Johnson shocked the nation.
I shall not seek, and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
Johnson went home to his ranch in Stonewall, Texas, where he would begin making plans to build a school of public policy. A school designed to foster new generations of purpose-minded leaders who would continue his mission for social change. It was a race against time.
When he went back to Texas, he was worn out. He really was not in good health.
From that moment on, he knew he was a marked man. The LBJ School became his link to eternity.
He wanted the LBJ School to not just be scholars, but to be practitioners.
A school that would train people, young people, to come into government and want to be in public service.
But LBJ's dream to inspire young leaders to think big and act bold, a school that was to be his link to eternity, nearly failed right out of the gate.
We received very few applications. The Vietnam conflict had accelerated, and he still received a great deal of blame.
There was a fog hanging over the school during that period, all as a result of the anti-Vietnam movement.
We went to President Johnson's office, and he just received the word that no young people wanted to enroll in his public policy school. I saw a man broken in spirit. I saw a man whose face was full of pain and agony. And I saw a man who was so discouraged and was humiliated. I came up with the idea that we would pay the way 100% for the students that would enroll in the LBJ School. They would be on a full scholarship.
That was the determinant factor for me, and I think it was, quite candidly, for a lot of other students.
The school opened. Lyndon Johnson was alive to see the first class of the LBJ School.
They didn't realize it then, but that first class of students was on the forefront of a coming sea change and how the world would remember LBJ's presidency.
The epiphany for me was my first year at the school, how federal policy could be better utilized and leveraged to help underprivileged kids.
The great importance of Lyndon Johnson's legacy is that he believed in the use of government to advance the national well-being.
I was a child of Appalachia in a coal mining town in eastern Ohio. It's a safe bet I wouldn't be sitting here today if it hadn't been for the war on poverty.
Those programs gave us hope and opportunity.
For 50 years, as we came to understand the enduring impact of the 36 presidents' domestic legacy, the LBJ School rose to prominence. The school's rocky start strengthened the resolve of its faculty, who had served in government at the highest levels, often during tumultuous times.
After the Berlin Wall came down, we had 22 students in Budapest in Hungary, and we had about 10 or 12 students in Poland. I think every state and almost every country in the world has had some LBJ student to have a significant role in the history of what's happened since the school was founded.
Our faculty here and our students here and our alumni here, they are doing things. They are in the middle of the most contentious problems. They're trying to solve them.
Our students are taught to think big and to dream big. Those dreams are based in data and facts and reason.
The intersection between wildlife conservation and security issues.
Community engagement and sustainable development.
The crossroads of national defense and economic development.
The health system and policy response to gender-based violence.
They come to the LBJ School because they give a damn.
If they fail, they get back up and try again. That's the DNA of the school.
From early on, the LBJ School's hands-on culture was shaped by renowned public leaders, presidents, vice presidents, Supreme Court justices, governors, members of Congress, foreign leaders, and diplomats.
Now, the number of eminent leaders from around the world that have walked through these doors is just incredible.
Women have played a huge role in it since day one. Lady Bird Johnson was a huge driving force.
She believed that we all had an obligation to give back for being so lucky to live in this country.
We are a people in a quandary about the present. We are a people in search of our future.
Barbara Jordan came from Congress, and she had just shaken the world with her speech in 1976. She really challenged the American people to come together as a society.
We are attempting to fulfill our national purpose, to create and sustain a society in which all of us are equal.
Those words resonate more than ever today. They capture our hopes and dreams, even in a time of crisis. They capture the essence of Lyndon Johnson and what it means to be part of the LBJ School of Public Affairs.
Having the chance to attend a school that bore not only his name, but had this deep commitment to his legacy was transformative.
When you're faced with big challenges, you have to keep your eyes on innovative solutions.
Today, more than any other time, we need students who have purpose, who have passion, and who we can train to take that purpose and passion and move it in a way that makes a difference.
When you say LBJ, I think of a fighter. I think of somebody that spent his whole career fighting for a better society.
The wall behind me embodies that great society that LBJ himself once envisioned.
It also shows the power that one person can do in public policy.
You tell people that you are an alum of the LBJ School. That says something. It says that you have a commitment to civil rights and to social justice, that you believe that policy has to follow idea, and that action requires that you push forward even in the face of challenge. We have an obligation to continue his legacy.
If the president were alive today and could see the students of the LBJ School walk up those steps and cast their eyes upon those bill captions of the legislation he wrote, he would say, they're my young men and they're my young women, and that's why we're going to save this country.